of Thrones. We going to talk about Game of Thrones for an hour and a half?
I mean, I've talked about it so much since. But how did you feel? Did you like it?
It was Game of Thrones. It was the first episode of a season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It was reunions. It's exactly what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have a new theory.
Mm-hmm.
I have thoughts about the lack of travel, and that's good because if you think about it, all the traveling has been character development.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jaime and Brienne became better based on when they were traveling, but we don't need that development anymore. Arya and the Hound character development was happening when they traveled.
It's all on the road.
Bran's character development when he was going up north. Like all of the character development happens during the travel, or like the relationship building kind of stuff. Tyrion and Jorah, Tyrion and Varys. You know, it was just like all of the like character building.
Which is interesting because who's the one character who has done no traveling? Cersei.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Theon's character development has been like when he's with Ramsay traveling around the north.
Which is really funny because my big gripe with the books. Have you read the books?
I've read part of the first one.
So I listened to all the audiobooks and I could not get through the last one, the most recent one, because it just read like a travel log. I couldn't. It was so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's funny because it's like one of my main takeaways from the books.
Yeah. So now that they're all doing the things, it's like that's the thing.
It's funny because I was talking to a friend and she was like, "Oh, I was trying not to like spoil it," and I was like, "I don't know that there was anything to spoil.
It really wasn't.
Everything that happened we knew was going to happen. It was just we just wanted to see it with our eyeballs."
Cersei didn't get the elephants.
I know. Bummer. I really felt like she was speaking for the audience. Like we all wanted to see the elephants.
Right.
Like have like the Lord of the Rings moment, you know? And then like
that's actually really funny.
Yeah. Everyone's like, no, that's the writers being like, there really are not going to be elephants. We're very sorry.
Like
you want there to be dragons? You want ghosts to come back?
We did the budget on dragons and ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can barely do ghosts. So just
chill.
Get over it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of just reunions.
Mm-hmm.
What
was your favorite reunion? I don't know that I can answer that question.
Arya and Jon or Arya and Gendry. I would really like. Because I like Arya.
Yeah,
same. I like her character now.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Sansa and Tyrion because she's really smart. I'm really enjoying Sansa.
When did that happen? Like it's crazy because I feel like the beginning of last season, she was everyone's least favorite character.
Yep.
Like she was so obnoxious. And then now everyone's like, dude, Sansa, she's what's up.
It's because like nobody wants to watch you learn the game. They want to see you play the game.
Yeah.
And now she's playing it so well.
Dude, she has my money right now if the Iron Throne even exists at the end of the day. I have my money on her.
Queen of the North.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And Ireland.
If there is a throne in the South. Like maybe Queen of the North is queen.
You want to get into my new theory?
Sure. Yeah.
What else do we need to talk about?
Okay. What I really liked about the Jon Arya reunion was that it was satisfying in that all we ever wanted to see was them be happy to see each other and him be like, "You've still got Needle."
Yeah.
You know. But I don't think that would have been enough for us. I think that we needed the complexity that Game of Thrones is known for. So it wasn't like we didn't get that, like we did, and they were very happy to see each other. But then for her to just stand by Sansa and be like, "Oh, she's the smartest person I've ever met," and you see the look on Jon's face, like he's taken aback, like you said that, and then you see him start to be like, because he's kind of a dope. Let's be real,
dumb.
But you see him be like, "Oh, some things have happened that I don't know about,"
right?
And him being like, "Oh, have you used Needle at all?" And she's like, "Oh, once or twice."
Yeah.
You know, and then you just know that in the next episode or two, she's going to pull a badass move and he's going to be like, "What the fuck?"
I can't wait for her to use the dagger.
Yeah.
They set up the dagger since the second episode.
Yeah. I mean, she's an assassin. She's not a soldier.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for her to be super badass. I love that they've just allowed her to go the Brienne route and just be like, "Yeah, do your thing, be what you are."
Yep.
And she can just commission pieces of weaponry from Gendry, and he's like, "Sure, no problem."
Yeah,
instead of her being in the same place a couple seasons ago, and then being like, "You can't shoot a bow. That's the boy's job."
Right.
You know.
Yep.
And now they're like, "Yeah, whatever you want."
Right.
He said, "As you wish," which just made me so happy.
So funny. So I'm going to tell you what I think the next couple episodes would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to ask who you think is going to end up on the throne, if there's a throne. And then I'm going to tell you my theory.
Okay.
So there's 6 episodes this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just had the first one. It was all reunions.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is going to be setting up to the Night King.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, the end of the episode, he's there. And then episode 3 is going to be the battle at Winterfell.
Yeah.
The one after that is going to be them retreating to the Iron Islands.
Okay.
The one after that is going to be the battle at King's Landing with the Night King and his guest. And the one after that is going to be the Resolution.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen. That's the arc I think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think ends up on the Iron Throne?
Okay, assuming that because I don't think the Iron Throne is going to be a thing.
And that's
but
an answer.
assuming that there is an Iron Throne.
Either assuming there is an Iron Throne, or if there isn't, what do you think happens?
Well, I think that I can't see either Jon or Dany, because this is Game of Thrones. I can't really see them ending up ruling. I think if anyone gets it, it's Sansa.
Okay.
But I don't. This whole thing has been about breaking the wheel, and I don't really think that somebody just becoming the new ruler is breaking the wheel. Like, I think that they're going to set up a new system, and that's why I don't think it's implausible that, like, the 7 kingdoms would break apart and become their own, maybe like a United States, or something like that. But their own thing.
Right.
I think that'll happen. I think Sansa might rule as I can see her leading from the north.
Okay. I think the north fades. I think everything goes to shit, but I think Jon ends up on the Iron Throne with nobody around him.
You think he's gonna be a white?
No, I think he kills the Night King, but the Night King has killed so many that when he kills him, everybody that he turns dies,
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like Jon and like 5 people left. I
thought you meant like literally alone, like the last man on earth.
The last man in Westeros,
yeah,
kind of thing. Maybe
mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might happen. So let me ask you this. Based on how Game of Thrones has gone, when characters are done with their way of moving the plot is over, they die, right? Mm-hmm. What is left for Dany?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's pregnant or will be soon.
Okay.
And I think they're, because the dragon has 3 heads, so like I think that the dragon is her, Jon, and the child.
Okay. But not Tyrion.
No, I don't think so. Because there was a reason I thought that. Oh, because I think people were theorizing that they thought Jon, Dany, and Tyrion were going to fly the 3 dragons, and now there's 2. But I think that the Song of Ice and Fire fulfills in multiple ways, right? So there's Jon is the Song of Ice and Fire, and then their baby is the Song of Ice and Fire. Their relationship is the Song of Ice and Fire. And
Dany is the Song of Ice and Fire because she dies and can't be burned after she's dead and comes back as a White Walker.
Dude.
As the queen of, like, the Night Queen.
That is terrifying.
And then Jon has to fight her and the Night King.
Damn.
So she's the Song of Ice and Fire as well.
Do you think I can see her killing the Night King and then becoming the Night Queen? That is a great theory.
So I think they can't burn her.
Mm-hmm.
So she becomes the Night Queen, and they have now 2 dragons. Like, one of the ice dragon kills one of the 2 dragons. Jon rides the other one back to the Iron Islands because they set that up. Mm-hmm. They specifically said she needs a place to fall back.
Mm-hmm. See, I thought that was just an excuse to get rid of those characters because they were done with them.
So Theon's going back to Winterfell.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, hey, Yara is in charge of the Iron Islands if we need a fallback plan.
Yeah.
And then Jon's going to ride the dragon back there.
Dude, so what if at the end, if that comes true, I just feel like the Night King is so insignificant. Like, we don't care about him at all. That, like, he's purely set up for Dany to become the Night Queen after she kills him.
But if she kills him, then everyone he's turned dies, which is a lot.
That's true.
So that's why I think
Does she care?
I think that they work together, and then Jon it's fulfilling the prophecy of like the Lightbringer, the sword thing, kills the Night King, which then kills everybody he's
Why
turned.
does
which
her
includes
not
Dany.
being able to be like, I understand, but there's more than that, those ways to kill a White Walker.
Right. But if a White Walker kills her or she dies some other way,
Yeah.
it's not because of Valyrian steel or obsidian.
Right. But if you're saying that she turned because they can't burn her,
Right.
why can't they just stab her?
Because they don't, like, you don't stab your friends kind of thing, you know?
Okay. So
like
they don't
never,
want to.
yeah, they never stab the dead. They always just burn them.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair. Yeah. I just feel like if you want to go back to your Tyrion theory, if Dany's riding Viserion at the end and then Drogon and Rhaegal are being ridden by Jon and Tyrion,
No.
it would be interesting.
No, I think I think that they lose another dragon.
Okay.
To make it even harder.
And then Dany and the Night King are both riding dragons?
Dany and the Night King are both riding dragons. Jon's riding the other one. Tyrion finds out he's a Targaryen for the sole purpose of him raising Cersei's baby.
Oh, interesting. So why would him being a Targaryen matter?
Because then it would show that like the Lannisters got fucked kind of thing. It's just
yeah. I don't think Cersei's pregnant. I think she's lying.
So here's somebody, my friend Brianna told me, she's pointed out like people get what they don't want. Cersei wants a baby with Jaime. She doesn't want a baby with somebody else. And what's his face? He's like, I'm going to put a baby in you.
Yeah.
She doesn't want that.
No, which was very obvious. She reacted very strongly to that.
Which means I think she's going to have.
So she was lying, but then she gets pregnant anyway?
Yeah.
I feel like the prophecy about her having 3 kids, gold will be their crowns and gold will be their crowns. Like, I understand that, especially in this show, prophecy doesn't always mean that everything, but like that one seems so set in stone that like I can't really see them allowing her to have another child.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
Unless the gold will be their crowns refers to them being light-haired kids, because then maybe she has another brown-haired kid and then gold is his crown is brown, not gold. Yeah, interesting. Because I have been thinking like it's very obvious the first 3 episodes are going to be. It's the last 3 episodes that everyone's like, because we knew because of the director assigned to the episode that the 3rd episode is going to be the Battle of Winterfell. So it's like, then what? You know, so people are saying, well,
it's who dies.
Yeah, and maybe they kill the Night King in episode 3, and then it's about, you know, one coalition versus King's Landing, and then Cersei's the actual, because that's been the emotional buildup this whole time. Has been that Cersei's been the, as far as character development, she's been the villain, because there's been so little development with the Night King that it's more of a force of nature than anything else. You know, he's not exactly an interesting villain.
Something interesting that I saw somebody point out, and it's been confirmed by the directors, is the White Walkers used to not wear armor until Sam killed one. And then they remembered that there's things in the world that can kill them. So they started wearing armor. I was like,
interesting.
I like that.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that nobody in Game of Thrones wears hats ever? No matter how cold it is?
Because they're actors?
Because, yep. The network will not allow any of them to wear hats ever, no matter how cold it is, except for like Jaime rides up with a hood on, you know, but then he immediately takes it off.
Yeah. Literally the Hound wears the Hound helmet just so you know he's the Hound, and then he takes it off. Yeah. It's because they're actors. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, especially because they literally film in places that are so cold, and like nobody's allowed to wear a hat.
Like you would wear a hood at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I didn't love. I shared with you the whole new world with the dragons. It was so funny. And so I liked that scene. If it weren't at this point, Jon riding a dragon should have more significance than like a cute, fun little outing with his girlfriend. Dany should know that him getting on a dragon means he's a Valyrian. If not a Targaryen. Because I think it's Targaryens are of Valyria, so you just have to be Valyrian. But like at that point, she should be like, and that should be like Jon should know who his parents are. Then he should get on the dragon. then Danny should be like, what's up with that? And you should see her start to get worried.
Mm-hmm.
And then you should see her work it out. And then there should be a confrontation.
But that's the thing is, they haven't been doing that, which means I believe Danny's going to die.
Interesting. I so don't want that. Like as much as, see, I think about, because she's being really obnoxious right now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but also not.
I mean, she's being obnoxious with the thing about like,
the dragons eat whatever they want.
Well, she's like, but I'm her queen, so she better respect me,
But as somebody pointed out to me this, they're upset that Sansa and like her are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if it would have been a male and a female character, I would have been like, oh, the sexual tension. It's just, it's two strong female characters that are looking out for their people.
Yeah. My issue with Danny, and actually I think this contributes to your theory, who are her people? She doesn't have any.
Exactly.
And when Sam talks to Jon and he's like, Davos is like, he took a knife in the heart for his people. And then Sam is like, you gave up your crown for your people. Would she do the same thing? No, because she has no people. She doesn't have anyone. She has Jon. She has Tyrion. She has like Jorah.
Right.
Maybe, but she's done worse to elevate herself above them.
And the shitty thing is about like my theory is that it means she was literally a plot device to get Jon an army.
Yeah. So there's a theory that the Starks are descended from White Walkers.
White Walkers are descended from Starks.
Yeah. But I guess somewhere back in the history, I can't show my receipts on this, but there was a truce between the Starks of old and the White Walkers.
Mm-hmm.
And the King of the North married his daughter to a White Walker,
mm-hmm.
and that there are descendants from them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting if say Jon, being the Song of Ice and Fire, couldn't be turned, and so he could rule an army of White Walkers.
Right.
I don't know.
I thought the theory or the story of war, it's either that the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch fell in love with a White Walker and turned himself so that they could be together.
Did like a Benjen sort of thing?
Yeah.
Where it's like he's still kind of half, but not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've heard that too. I've heard both. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just so much backstory. And a lot of it isn't in the books. A lot of it is like in George R. R. Martin's like extra little appendices, like Tolkien does. Yeah. I mean, did you like the well, first of all, did you think Sam overreacted or underreacted or reacted appropriately?
Yeah, I reacted appropriately.
I thought, yeah. I mean, it was the first time I think we've ever seen Sam be kind of petty. And I understand it's not petty because it's a really big deal. But he's never really acted like in his own interest.
Yep.
Ever.
Right.
I get that he was upset about his brother. I get that he was like upset about his dad, but not as upset maybe as we saw him be. I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit, I think maybe I'm on Danny's side in what happened there. And so maybe I understand Sam's reaction, but I also am like, but you weren't there. Do you have any more thought? Well, I mean,
I will in a couple of days.
The scene in the crypts with him finding out his.
I'm so glad it happened in the first episode because I don't need that dumb background drama.
No. Yeah. And I like that Bran just is like, it's time. Go do it now.
Yeah. And I think he's going to tell everyone, especially if they try to propose like that they get married.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's going to be a big deal? Do you think he's going to care about the aunt thing?
No.
I don't think so either. It just is that the marketing of the show and the actors themselves have been making such a big deal about it that like that's the only reason I'm like, oh, is this actually going to matter? Because I don't care, and I don't see why anyone in the show would care.
No, I think it's the bigger issue is I think Jon's going to be like, I'm the true heir, but I don't want it, and she's going to still feel threatened. That's where the real tension is.
Yeah,
the fact that incest has been a thing in the show for the whole fucking series.
And it's not even I mean, you'd have to throw out like half the Bible stories if you couldn't marry your, one removed relative. you know?
Yeah, incest is a whole different conversation.
I
But
know.
yeah, like,
but I'm just saying, like if we're talking about medieval times or any time that's before like a century ago, nobody would have cared.
it's also the fact it's like there's dragons in this show, and you're worried about incest. Like, you're worried that he's sleeping with his aunt.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't know.
His aunt,
whatever.
who's his same age, who grew up on a different continent, who he didn't know was his aunt until 5 seconds ago.
Right.
Okay. I mean, obviously, she won't care. I think you're right. She'll be threatened. He has no desire to rule.
And that's, you get what they don't want. That's what I think he's going to end up on the throne.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just see him as kind of a Christ figure. So I don't see him surviving. Like, I see him ending with him sacrificing himself again.
One of my favorite lines from the show is from him, where he's talking about, like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a really good fighter.
He's so good.
But he's
And
also
that
a really
shot
good
at the beginning
leader.
of Battle of the Bastards with him, like, so good. Also, he's a dope.
He doesn't deserve it.
Where Sansa's like, so how are we going to feed everyone?
Yeah. Sansa's a real leader.
Yeah. He's like, but we got to defeat evil. And he's right, too,
So I
to
think,
be fair.
you're right. So this is what I think happens is that Jaime dies, becomes a white. Arya kills Jaime, uses his mask to be an assassin to kill Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo bongo.
Jaime dies in the arms of Brienne.
Sure.
I want to die in the arms of the woman I love.
Right.
And I don't think that Brienne and Jaime have or will ever like kiss. But there definitely is a deep feeling there.
Uh-huh. I think I liked your thought that they do defeat the White Walkers because it's been such a just always a force of nature in the background.
Yeah.
That it would be kind of weird for them to be the main reason.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that, yeah, maybe Jon kills them and then they go down to King's Landing to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Dany dies in the 3rd episode.
I just think she has to have a baby. I think that's the only way for there to be any hope in the world. Like,
And that's what I think. Or maybe Tyrion raises the baby. I think Tyrion raises a baby in the end.
so cute, little baby nanny daddy. I don't really see
'Cause he
Tyrion
doesn't-
living either, to be honest.
He's one of those toss-up characters.
He's just so dumb now. I love how they dug into him in this season. Sansa's like, I used to think you were smart.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out, they're like, that bridge or whatever in Winterfell is where Sansa goes to drag people.
Yeah, she super does. Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.